Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking some time to sit with me today. I know it's been a long day. Really appreciate it. For those that don't know you guys, I know there's a lot of you. Can you kind of share who you guys work for, where you're located, and all that good stuff? So why don't you be the spokesperson for this?
Yeah, work for Vredevoogd Heating and Cooling. Been with them a little over 20 years now. Started the new construction world and did the replacement and service.
Very good, very good. We're talking for a great reason. You guys had a killer year last year. This year is looking good, and a lot of it has been, the growth has been based on the growth of your branch locations, and I really want to learn about that. I know Brian was at our Eagles event a few months ago and was sharing what you guys were doing, and there's some big operators that were like, whoa, we want to learn more about this. So that's why he talked to me, and that's why you're here. And I'm very excited to learn what the special sauce is in the growing like you guys have grown. But before we get into that, I love learning people's individual stories. I think there's a lot to be learned from that. So I'm going to go around the table. Andy, your top left, can you kind of share with everyone your name and your journey into contracting and how you got to Vredevoogd?
Sure. My name is Andy Martinus. I've been with Vredevoogd for about 15 years now.
Wow.
I have a business and marketing degree.
Yeah.
At that time, I was in the finance world, kind of jumping around, job hopping. The market at that time was really rough.
Yeah.
And I just looked at my wife and said that, hey, I needed to do something different.
Yeah.
Tired of sitting behind a desk. Kind of, the world, the job market out there wasn't that great at that time. And I just started exploring some of the trades. And when I got hired in, it was kind of different. At that time, Vredevoogd took an approach where after a couple initial interviews, I had to sit down with all the technicians around a round table. Wow. And they all drilled me questions.
Yeah.
15 guys, that were basically reporting back to Mike and Tom at that point.
Yeah.
Should we hire this guy?
Yeah.
Scott to this day brings that up. Like, you're the only one that ever had to do that.
Oh my gosh. The guinea pig. Yeah.
But, so started out as a service technician, held some different positions within the service department, did some sales for them, transitioned in the last couple years into a service team leader, and now I am the branch operations manager in Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Very good. Very good. I love the story. Very good. Thank you. Derek, let's start with you. Yes. So what was your journey into the trades? How you got into this crazy world?
So my journey into the trade, I've been with Vredevoogd for 7 years.
Okay.
And I was a retail manager. I was with Home Depot.
Okay.
12 years before that.
Yeah.
Grew up with Home Depot, started on third shift, and grew my way through the business at Home Depot.
Yeah.
Had some family changes, and I moved from the middle part of Michigan down the southern part of Michigan to Grand Rapids area.
Okay.
Made a career change at the same time, and was able to get into Vredevoogd as a service technician, similar to him. So I was a service technician and worked my way up to service team leader and service manager, and now branch operations manager at Grand Rapids.
Very good. And you've been doing, you guys are all like about a year into it, 24 months, 18 months?
Yeah.
In your branches?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Thank you. Tim, same question to you. Share your journey into this wonderful industry.
Yeah, so graduated from high school, had a scholarship to go play football at Division II in Michigan.
I got to add.
Northwood.
Okay.
Northwood University. I was interested in business. I mean, I like numbers.
Yeah.
So interested in business, and I had knee surgery that summer. Football kind of went away at that point, so tried to attend business classes at a community college in town. Terribly boring. And to attend business classes. The numbers are fine, but the class itself is pretty rough. So worked with my father down in a factory down in Detroit, auto manufacturing. And he was just kind of like, you need to go back to school. You need to kind of find something. This isn't the life I want for you. So, you really need to find something that you're going to want to do forever. At the same community college, they offered 2 different programs, auto diesel or HVAC. And I already, know a little bit about cars, but I didn't want it to be my career. I want to still be a fun hobby type thing, like fix my own stuff, nobody else's kind of thing. So went the route of HVAC. Met my wife after I graduated, and just worked in an actual dealership, changing oil, starting there, and then worked my way up to just a service advisor. And then I'm like, no, we were recently married. This isn't a career. I want to build a family, and this just isn't something that I can do. I have all this student loan debt. I need to apply it. So found Vredevoogd. I think it was probably like a Craigslist ad maybe at the time.
Yeah, there we
Like,
go.
it wasn't Indeed or anything like that. I found them, middle of the night. I'm like, I need to find a career. Like, this is what we're going to do. Drove from Mount Pleasant to Grand Rapids, so about an hour and a half, 4 different times for these interview processes that we have. Yeah, and different processes each time, and hired on as a service technician in Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
And then my wife, she was pregnant with our son, and her job transferred from Grand Rapids to Lansing. We had just recently opened up in Kalamazoo, and I wasn't sure if our others at the time, Mike and Tom, would want to open up another branch. But I presented them with that chance of, hey, do you want to roll the dice on me? We'll go to Lansing. I'll be boots on the ground there.
Yeah.
Or I have to find a new contractor.
Yeah.
And fortunately, they were interested in the expansion. So, yeah, 2014 we opened up in Lansing. So,
Wow, you were a young guy to be pitching.
I was 22, 23 at the time.
Yeah.
So
Let's start a new division. Come on, Mike. Let's do it.
it worked out really well though. So
That's cool. Very good. Very good. Well, Sal, we gotta round it out with you because you've got the longest tenure there. You've seen quite a bit. So how did you get into all this, first of all, in contracting?
Similar story, newly married and looking for a career opportunity.
Yeah.
Worked in the commercial sign business doing that type of work, and ended up getting pigeonholed into a paint booth, and I'm like, this isn't that what I want to do. So had a cousin who was working for Vredevoogd at the time. Actually had 2 interviews there, 2 job offers. One time went to another sign company, knew what I thought I wanted to stay there, didn't want to stay there, called back Mike and said, hey, any chance I can try again?
Yeah.
And got in there, and it was new construction day, so first day, go out, lay down the steel mesh and lay all the in-floor tubing and start chopping up houses and hanging ductwork. And
You guys were like less than $1 million too back then, right?
I don't even know.
I was going to say, you guys were a little bit. I just remember Mike was like, if we can get to $1 million in residential service, it's going to be made.
Yeah, probably in service, that would make sense.
Yeah.
I think I was like the 50th employee in the new construction world at that time, but worked in the new construction field for a couple of years, and then they joined Airtime.
Yeah, Airtime, yeah.
So started adopting the service model, and I walked into Mike's office one day and said, I don't want to be a casualty of this transition. Right. So how do I get into service?
And you're like, talk about how you've grown with it. Because what are you now? Like, let's go. What's your job title?
Yeah, so as director of operations. Okay. So, many steps between there and here. Okay. A lot of learning the model. So naturally, I'm not an outgoing person. I'm a wallflower kind of guy. I'm an analytical kind of guy. It's like install kind of guy.
Yeah.
So learning the technician process of the 6 steps or my service essentials now.
Yeah.
The time, and just adopt it, learn it, own it.
Yeah.
Rely on it, trust it, and make it your own. And got me some success as a service technician. Got me into a service team leader role. Got me into a service manager role. Got me into an operations manager role.
Yeah.
Directors.
There you go. Very cool. It's a great story. All you guys want to use to was all these. Great long. It speaks a lot to the culture, the environment that the business is constructed, and that they started, and that's continued. I want to get into let's get into the branch location a little bit. Maybe share. It's come out the history a little bit, but you've lived it for sure. When did the branches start popping open in general? Yeah, you give the chronological order.
So the Grand Rapids branch is home turf, Mike and Tom's home turf. That's where we started originally. 1964, I believe, was when they founded the company, or his father founded the company, and then 2013. So we started the service replacement models 2006, 2007.
Yeah,
we're in there. And then 2013, kind of May, June, I think we started in Kalamazoo. And then June, July of 2014, we started in Lansing.
Okay. So the growth of those, though, is not, they took off. Yeah, really took off. It had been slow previously. What What do you guys think were the reason that those had not grown until this recently?
It's laying the groundwork, the foundation. You got to start kindling the fire a little bit and start small, finding the right people. Yeah. You take a lot of time of finding the right people, putting passion and effort into it. Finding people who will put passion and effort into it as much as you will.
Yeah.
And, finding the right leadership and
maybe you could share each of you what your locations look like so people understand in terms of staffing, because everyone's like, because first of all, calls go into the home office, right? Dispatched out of the home office, accounting's all out of there, right? So again, I think it'd be interesting for people to know that. So Andy, you start us off. What's personnel is like at your team?
Sure. Personnel wise, we have 2 workers in our warehouse.
Yep.
We do all of our own in-house sheet metal. Okay. So they're responsible for that as well as, managing the warehouse. We have myself, obviously. Our install department is 7 installers. Okay. And then we have currently 8 service technicians.
Okay. And how about, is that including the plumbers?
On plumbing, I forgot about that. Yeah.
We'll cut that.
It's so new, but we have currently 2 plumbers in Kiln.
Okay. Plus Luke, the apprentice.
Oh, yeah. Plus in the thirds. That's okay. So it's getting big. Derek, how about you? Well, what's your team look like?
So Grand Rapids would be the bigger of the 3. We have 38 service technicians.
Wow.
29 installation technicians, 3 plumbers plus 3 apprentices, and then a full warehouse staff and all the management staffs there, obviously, because that's the main hub. But,
right.
It's a big group.
It is a big group. That is a big group. Very good. Tim, how about your team?
Myself, we have one warehouse associate. We third party our sheet metal.
Okay.
So we don't have anyone there that does sheet metal. We have 5 HVAC technicians, 3 installers, and then 3 full-time plumbers and 1 apprentice.
The 1 apprentice. Wow, that's great. That's grown incredible, I guess. Well, in this, what do you think? The last 18 months, it's taken off. What 2 or 3 things has propelled this growth? I'd be interested to hear what each of you thinking. I will point. Whoever wants to talk up first, feel free. But I'd like to get all of your opinions on what's been the big driver of it.
I think in Lansing, we've done a really good job of just, establishing ground there. For a lot of people in Michigan, Grand Rapids to Lansing is like the moon. So when we came over to Lansing, it was just really hard to just really put our footprint there. You really have to take the time to build the customer experience, have them repeat clients as well as, them being your biggest advertisers. So telling their friends and, being in the neighborhoods and things like that. So I think that has really, the 5 or 6 years of work that we put in, on the front end of not having a lot of technicians, for whatever reason, they're not the right fit for our team, things of that nature. So we were kind of unable to expand as much as we wanted to. But once we found the right people, we were really able to then be very aggressive with, how we market and things like that so that we were able to, capture all these clients.
About the only other thing I'd add to that is it's taken a while to establish our club membership in those locations. And what do you feel that we have the buy-in from our employees, and our employees there have been there for, as much as 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Now we have buy-in from them too. So, I would say that it's growing a whole different business. So, is well known. We were in that West Michigan area. We went into 2 markets that the name just didn't hit home like it does, kind of closer to the Grand Rapids area.
Right.
So I just think it took a while for us to establish it, and now our name is out there and people are recognizing it.
Yeah, I know Brian put a lot of emphasis in evaluating the marketing and honing that in, and I know it was a lot. And just in talking with him, you think that's been a big driver? You just had more leads, or was it more of a leads issue or a people issue?
I think it's a little bit. That's all of it.
Yeah,
I mean, this team here doesn't get into the marketing a whole lot.
Sure.
World, so.
But what the number, when the calls are coming in, it all start coming up.
Yeah. So I've done a lot of work in that. No, both of the Kalamazoo and Lansing branches were grassroots growth. We did not acquire anybody in those areas. So we relied on technicians like Tim and another technician to go into Kalamazoo and just start running jobs. So, yeah, boots on the ground, building it up. So it wasn't, there's nothing that we built off of. It was just flat out grassroots start. Right. So,
right. Was it just you guys were hiring better and that allowed you to continue to grow it? You got to have the people, right? It sounds like it took a while to find the right people. Were you guys did you hone how you recruited a little bit better? Or?
Yeah, I think it's just the nature of the business. You hire people and you find people that are really good at the job, and then people who need to make other changes for themselves. That you just have some transition that occurs.
Okay, all right, that's fair enough. Well, how about you guys? What do you think? Is it where's these quality people coming from? I mean, how has that changed, or maybe gotten better? Or you getting better at it, or more people? You're getting more of a name in your markets, and so more people coming your way.
Support for this podcast comes from Moen. As the #1 faucet brand in North America, Moen offers a diverse selection of thoughtfully designed kitchen, bath, and smart water security products, each delivering the best possible combination of meaningful innovation, useful features, and lasting value. Moen strives to be the most durable, reliable, and easy-to-install brand of faucets. Moen leans on pros to help continue to drive consumer innovation and influence Moen's engagement with consumers in a meaningful way. For more information, visit plumber.moen.com.
I think I have to refer to, Mike Vredevoogd took the stance of if it's not an A-plus person, we hire A-plus people. So, yeah. I mean, it takes a while to find those quality people. And I think we are very selective. It's not we have multiple interviews. We allow our new hires the opportunity to get in a truck and ride with our technicians to see if it's going to be a right fit for them as well.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there's all different qualities that we're looking for.
Sure. We'll go ahead, please.
Yeah, I mean, the trade is just not something of just being, mechanically inclined. You really have to be interested in customer service, and then your subject matter is just a furnace or an air conditioner or a water heater or pipes or something like that.
Right.
But you really have to want to be servicing people, and I think what I found in Lansing is that, a lot of folks, they were more mechanically inclined. I mean, GM being a big hub right there in Lansing, so the folks that were there, their parents worked up and they all worked with their hands. So everyone feels like they're kind of mechanically inclined, but they're not too interested in really, providing customer service. And,
yeah.
That's really it's a trick to find the right people. We have a lot of, interesting testing that we send, to our candidates before we'll hire them.
Okay.
We have very, I would say strict criteria, as to what kind of people we're going to hire. So
what does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, we sent out a Wonderlic test.
Really?
Yeah. We have a testing to see, what kind of, is this person going to be motivated?
Yeah.
What kind of person are we hiring? Are they someone that's going to, be a self-starter, or do they need to be told what to do at every turn?
What test is it? The culture index, or is it something else?
Can-do attitude test.
Can-do attitude test. Very interesting. There's a Wonderlic test, can-do attitude test. What other pre-screening type things?
Mechanical.
Just a mechanical aptitude.
Yeah. Mechanical aptitude. Well, maybe speak to that. What generally, because this is online, right? You're getting sent them. Yeah. So what does that look like?
I mean, it's a base mechanical aptitude of righty tighty, lefty loosey. If you turn this gear this way, what does this one do?
Interesting.
They don't have to be an engineer to pass it.
Right.
It means, but if you have somewhat of a concept of how mechanics work, then
right.
You're going.
What program is that, or is it what's a tool? Sure. Okay. No, I got the results for a recent that's
candidate that I'm looking at.
So. Yeah. So who drives all the recruiting for you guys? Do you have a recruiter, or is it each of you sponsor?
Our HR team's got a HR associate. I don't know what her Anna's name and title is officially, but so she works through Indeed. We just post on Indeed and review resumes, and we do multi-step interview. So the testing doesn't happen initially. The first initial kind of threshold is we do an in-person or a Zoom interview with them.
Okay.
Just to kind of gauge out the people person, kind of.
Right. You want to see it most. Not only see what they look like, what their body language is like.
Go through the basic questions, kind of weed out the ones that we know aren't going to work.
And what are the basic questions?
Drugs.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Talk about it, right? Yeah. Talk about image, like background check, driving record check.
Sure.
Ask those things, basic stuff. Try to sort out the ideal team player, kind of ask some of those humble, hungry, smart type questions.
I was just going to ask you, the basic criticism always is a solid win with that. Sure.
Trying to figure that stuff out and see if they're going to be a good fit. And then, that's 5 minutes. We used to do 2-minute speed interviews, but it's probably 5-10 minutes now for that first interview. And then from there, then we go on to the testing.
Okay.
Kind of like 2 or 3 stops.
Real quick, let me interrupt. So are each of you doing that interview for your locations, or is someone doing it for you?
We are.
So you each are. Okay, very good.
Yeah, we'll pair up and team up to like have more than one person in the interview.
Okay.
Points.
All right. I just wanted to be clear for other people. We're learning from you guys, so I want to know that. So,
yeah.
Okay, so you do the initial interview. Go ahead.
And then we do the testing, and based upon the thresholds we preset for that testing, it gets forwarded on to the manager, and then we try to do an in-person. So we come in and have more of a panel type interview, multiple people, some team leaders for the respective departments, or with the manager.
What is that? So those interviews, obviously you're not going in there cold. You've got ideas of what you're going to ask people.
We build on the first few questions. Okay. So we talked about, and I'm really trying to drill into that, get more into their history.
What are good histories that you're looking for? Because, sometimes you're dealing with the other people, right, that may not have a lot of work. Maybe they played sports or something. Like, what are some things that you're like, okay, that dude might be, or is it not, is it just seeing how they interact with you?
Customer service is a big thing.
Yep.
Confidence.
In regards to like young people, what did they do while they were in school? Did they do any sort of like volunteering? Were they part of sports? Not that we're looking for, rejected athletes or anything like that, but is it someone that's works in a team and, things of that nature with young people? I think we would all prefer customer service over any sort of mechanically inclined.
Yeah, for sure.
So we can teach the mechanical, we can teach the skills. It's the personalities that matter.
Sure. Yep. Andy, Derek, how about you guys when you're interviewing people? What are certain things you're looking for in terms of personality, body posturing, any kind of red flags that you've learned over the years?
Eye contact for me is huge.
Yeah.
If they're not willing to, commit that to me, that's a red flag for me.
Sure.
Yeah. They need to show a little effort that they're professional and dressed and they want to be there and they're interested. And
right.
If they're just there just to do a job interview because mom told them to get out of the basement, that's not what we'll.
Yeah.
I got to be here just as much as we want them there.
Right.
If I got a prod for, the questions and it has to be all for me, that's another red flag.
Yeah. That makes sense. Any other red flags or things that you've learned in your interviewers that pretty much wrap it up? That's good. Okay, so they get through that part. Is there another? Did that pull me? Are we sending an offer, or what's the next step?
Usually, we'll offer the ride along so they can go ride with a technician to see the job. Kind of, we sell it like you get to see behind the curtain, see what you're getting into. Just as much a commitment for you as it is for us to, make this change.
Sure.
And 95% of the time, people will take that opportunity. They spend 3 or 4 hours with the technician running 2 service calls and gives us some more time. Usually, if we've done the ride along, we're already on a planned hire.
Okay.
So,
how many ride alongs have come back and they go, that guy, we can't hire that guy? Like, does it happen?
A few, very few.
Very few. Okay. They all right. So at that point, what's the next step on board? Well, first of all, I know what I was going to say. I apologize. Excuse me. How do you know what role that a young person or whomever, someone that, that wants to make a job, career change, that, he or she may be a plumber, or maybe they're better for install, or maybe, they'll be a salesperson eventually. Like how do you kind of start positioning them? Is it just where the needs are? Do you get to your shops or?
Some of that. Usually we're advertising for a specific role, so that person's already self-selected themselves slightly.
Okay.
But there have been times that we've spoken to them, we're like, hey, we really think you'd be a great fit as an installer.
Yeah.
And For me, I guess it's just gut, but I don't.
Yeah, the last year or two, we've kind of opened it up to maybe a broader description, where we call it an HVAC apprentice or an apprenticeship, to an extent that we can have that time with that particular person and find, hey, he might be better in install than he is in service, or he likes what the plumbers are doing, and he wants to look at, that option. So,
when you're talking to them, you'll find that they like to see things from start to finish. They like to see something go from old to new and see project completion, right? So immediately right there, I start thinking about an installer.
Yeah.
Somebody who likes to go out and solve problems and fix things and interact with people. I'm immediately thinking service orientated more.
Yeah.
You can sort that out pretty fast when you talk through their history a little bit, or what type of research have they done? What's interested them about our job posting? What do you know about Vredevoogd? Like, they'll start talking about those things. Yeah, I'll hear that real fast.
That's usually the first question I ask is, why Vredevoogd?
Yeah.
Just to see what they're going to come up with.
That'll put you on your heels right away, right? Yeah. I was gonna say, are there any other those little questions you guys have learned over the years that people go, and you get to see the true character though. Anytime you make someone turn a little bit,
Usually asking them to describe their personality.
Yeah.
Interest of self-reflection on what they're going to say back.
What would you consider your greatest failure? Is usually a question on interview process that gets a lengthy pause.
So like this. Yep.
very good. See all the little nuggets, you never, it always helps. So how often will you guys take a chance on a seasoned technician or a salesperson or plumber? Like, is it pretty rare? You prefer to mold them yourself, or maybe speak to your experience in hiring that?
We prefer to, by pattern, we seem to prefer to train our own.
Yeah.
Would we consider experience? Yes, 100%. We would love to have experienced people come in. We tend to find, though, that we're looking for the personality side of things, and, we're looking for A-plus people, and most times A-plus people are the ones looking for career changes.
Sure.
But we have hired with experience, and it's worked out great for us.
Yeah.
Just
if it is an experienced person, how do you know? Is it, again, just gauging personality and willingness to change? I mean, what are some things you...
I think willingness to change is the biggest part of it, because, there's a lot of ways to accomplish a task, but there's also a Vredevoogd way of going about business and the way that we do things. And, having to break those bad habits is really why we would prefer someone that is just someone that likes to talk to people, someone that likes to meet new people, and have interactions with people they don't know. That's why we're really looking for them, and then we can train them the way that we like them to be trained, and show them the way that we know, as opposed to coming from another company and, this other company did this way. Like, that's just not a battle that we
have this way, and it's worked pretty well. So yeah, that makes sense for sure. All right, so let's say I get hired as an HVAC apprentice. What's my onboarding like? Like, what's my career looks like the first year or two? Feel free. Anyone, go ahead, Derek.
Yeah. The onboarding would be typical for any employee, I guess. Initially, you're going to have the typical in-office stuff and fill out paperwork. We do 96, 7, 8% of our training in the field.
Okay.
So they're going to be with another seasoned senior type of technician in a van side by side. Whatever they have to learn, if it's customer service or if it's a technical skill, or how to take the cover off a furnace, or how to clean out a condensing coil, or whatever it is, they're hands-on learning in the field.
Right.
We do have some in-house training. We have a few weeks of the technical type of classroom/lab training.
Okay.
But most of it's in the field, because a lot of the people that we hire are hands-on learners.
Right.
They're not book learners, so we have to give them.
Right. So how long, if I'm an apprentice on the HVAC side at least, what's the expected, like within 6 months or a year, I can start doing some maintenance, or at least comfortable enough to be a second or third guy on install? What am I looking at?
So for the service side of things, we intend for them to ride for roughly 4 to 6 months out of their first year, depending on how quick they learn, of course. But then they're out on their own. It always depends on when the seasons fall.
Sure.
for us. But yeah, they're out on their own running maintenance calls. Getting the opportunity to be on call so that way they can see some issues and problem jobs and all their equipment, whatnot. So.
And how much are you chefing with these new people? I mean, is it? Yeah, I was going to say maybe share, because I think a lot of people don't think about that, especially smaller companies. They go, "We're busy. You just got to go figure it out," and then all of a sudden that person's like, "Man, what's going on?" So maybe speak to how much maybe over communicate with new people.
Sure. Like when I took the service team leader role, like the first 2 weeks that I got into that position, I don't think I knew what I was getting myself into.
Right.
At that point, I had probably 10 or 11 technicians that were within their first year of being within our company. And I kid you not, I'd go home and I would count the text messages, the phone calls, and I'd have 60, 70 phone calls in a day.
Wow.
And it can be overwhelming at times.
Sure.
Sure. But we have a great staff here that we can bounce. If we don't have the answer, I know or I can find the answer amongst all of us.
But with you guys being in the locations, you're seeing face to face your team, these young folks, these new folks all the time, right? So they're they have that interaction with you, So it's not like do you have regular one-on-ones with some of these newer people? Do the team leaders have regular one-on-ones so they can understand hey, how you feeling about this new career? Like maybe speak to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the team leaders, at least like in Grand Rapids, we have the luxury of having some extra team leaders, and they're doing ride-alongs with those technicians as much as possible.
Sure.
Just shoving the other technicians aside.
Yeah.
But having one-on-ones or having communications or call me on this or call me on that. We're our own in-house tech support. So
right,
whatever the technician needs, we're there. Right. We have to run out to help them, or if we're with them and helping them on coaching on how to present an option, or whatever it is, they're going to learn right there.
Yeah,
from that team leader.
I'd be interested in what you guys said. If you had to give a job description, and people are trying to learn from you guys for a team leader, what are the 4 or 5 things they're doing every day to be successful, so the guys in the field are successful? I'd just be intrigued with you guys.
I personally just like to get on a personal level with them. I think he alluded to getting in a van and riding with them. Get to know, are they married? Do they have kids? What do they like to do in their spare time? If you can get on that personal level, it makes it so much easier to have that daily conversation with them, whether it's a coaching moment or you have to come down a little harder on them for any reason. It makes that so much easier.
Yeah. You have credibility and trust.
Correct.
Okay. Very good. What else is a team? Is it just support? I mean, are they doing calls and running calls themselves?
They're not.
Okay.
Not in our organization.
Okay.
Our organization, they're all tech support. So it's either technical or process or customer service. Like, what do I do when this happens type of thing.
Okay.
So in our model, with all of the training of non-experienced, you have to have a lot of support built in.
Right.
So the team leaders are vital in that role.
Sure.
Along with the technology nowadays of sending photos, videos, video chat. Like, man, the first days I was a team leader and you couldn't get anything there describing over the phone. It's like, now to have video and photos, it's really just changed that whole role. But their whole day is that type of support, tech support, and then do supervisory things.
Okay.
Like on approving time cards and PTO requests, and they're following up on the files on journalists.
Invoices were filled out properly, or we use the right test, whatever.
Are they watching every invoice that comes in, make sure options are offered, club was offered, all that stuff?
Yeah, pretty much debrief.
Yeah. Are they debrief? So I was saying, do they debrief with the tech over the phone?
No, not necessarily. Okay. With the technician, but when I start my morning, a lot of the times I like to look at the previous day and just debrief the calls and see, what happened. Is there coaching moments? Is there stuff that we need to follow up on to make sure that, we're following up on that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the sweet spot? How many techs can a team lead handle?
I don't know. Yeah.
There's a lot of smiling and laughing. This guy. Yeah.
I mean, I think 15 is kind of the number we're hovering around.
Yeah.
We've pushed it up towards the 20. Whoa. One point, I had 23 as a team leader, and that was a lot. But somewhere in that 10 to 15. So it kind of works out right now as we've been scaling that if we worked to the 15 number, 2 teams up to 15, I could bring in another team leader, bring it down to 10, keep building up, kind of. So we'd hover between that 10 and 15.
Okay.
Certainly, you don't get as many ride-alongs, you don't get as many one-on-ones, you don't get as much touch. So we try to spread out. Not everybody, like Andy had, with all the young new hires all in together. We try to spread that out a little bit so you have a little bit more blend. But now, again, some team leaders have better technical skills or more knowledge, so then they have the more senior technicians anyways.
Okay. Now, will plumbers and HVAC guys report to a team lead, or is that broken up by trade?
It's broken up by trade.
Okay.
I mean, we certainly encourage our staff to call each other. Like our team members can call any team leader for help. They're just not going to have the technical experience related to the trade. But we can help with process. We can help with what do you do in this situation as a Vredevoogd team member. Like, there's plenty of help there, and we can bounce ideas. We've all seen enough stuff to help. But
Andy,
manager too.
You guys going to say you guys have way fewer plumbers. So are they reaching out to you guys typically?
For the customer aspect of things, yes.
But on the plumbing side, like technical.
Yeah, technical, I can't really help a lot with the technical side of things. But with, again, process, customer interaction, things of that nature, they rely on me for the support.
Is that a resource for you for plumbing technical?
He's our plumbing manager.
Brian Casello is our plumbing manager and master plumber.
Okay, well,
so he's got a technical expert. Yeah. So all of the plumbers right now, as we continue to grow that department, are kind of duly oversaw, right? Oversaw. So Brian's the primary technical side of things. Tim, Andy, and Derek are all there to help support. I'm there to help support as we can. But, usually it's more of us asking questions about the technical side of things, and then that makes sense. Cool, let's do it. But Brian's the one who steps in and helps us out there with the technical side of things.
Oops, very cool. The team leads. I'm for people learning, aspiring to grow like you guys have grown. It's a big position. What the people that you elevate into those positions first of all, is it typically a promotion, or that's never an external hire, right?
Oh, we will.
Okay, so what is that? What are you guys looking for when you're like, okay, we were hiring more. I need another team leader. Do you know automatically what are you looking for the right team leader?
We look at the technicians that we have training our new people. How do those interactions go? How are those newer technicians performing in the field? How are what's the reviews look like? How are their callbacks? How are their processes? And then we're able to kind of know that, all right, that person really has our Vredevoogd way down. So then we're able to kind of look at them, from the promotional standpoint of, all right, maybe they would make a good team leader. I think coming out of the field, you kind of you want to get back out in front of a person's house. Meet someone face to face, get out there and get your hands dirty. I mean, for me, being out of the field was a difficult transition because, I learn with my hands. I think with my hands. So, fielding tech support calls and things like that, that was a little bit of a hurdle to kind of work through. So I think that finding the right people that can transition to that would be a good fit. And then someone that wants to, just help the team grow. Being a technician in the field, I was, for the longest time, I'm worried about Tim and my family. What are we going to be able to do? And then I got to a point where, that wasn't the fulfillment wanted to be with growing the group now. Yeah, I want to bring everyone up to me, and then even surpass just fine. Yeah, I want to start bringing everyone else along. So you're just seeing really who's that team player, who's willing to take the time and invest into someone else. That's really what we look for with team leader and leadership in general. So
Andy, dear, what do you guys say?
Yeah,
what team leaders when you're like, oh yeah, that guy? Did you see him how they're interacting with the other guys?
Yeah, I mean, they're already exhibiting those qualities.
Yeah,
they're putting their arm around somebody and showing them how they did something or how they could do a process better.
Yeah,
or they're training, like Tim said. Well, they're a cheerleader for our company already. They want to see grow, like Tim said. I mean, Yes, you can see that for sure.
Yeah.
Support for this podcast comes from Rheem. Founded in 1925, Rheem innovates new ways to deliver precise temperatures while saving energy, water, and supporting a more sustainable future. Rheem is the only manufacturer in the world that produces heating, cooling, water heating, pool and spa heating, and commercial refrigeration products. For nearly a century, Rheem has been the industry leader, pioneering numerous industry firsts, including smart features that meet the HVAC needs of homeowners and contractors with high-quality, sustainable, high-efficiency air conditioners, furnaces, and more. That's why we design every new product with the Rheem 360-degree plus one philosophy of performance, installability, serviceability, and integration. We evaluate every detail from top to bottom, inside and out, and everything in between. We consider the work that goes into installing and servicing our products as well as how we can deliver the best homeowner experience, and then we take it further. That's 360 degrees plus one. Go to www.rheem.com for more information. And Ruud. Ruud is an industry leader for total heating and cooling solutions. With more than 85 years of experience in HVAC, Ruud has honed the art of producing reliable solutions that deliver high efficiency and lower operating costs. Today's economy isn't about product lines, it's about product solutions. Whatever your interests or needs, whatever your heating or cooling application, Ruud has a reliable, cost-effective solution to meet it. Go to www.ruud.com for more information.
How long were you guys team leaders before you got out? I mean, you just got out mostly all elevated within the last year or two, right? So how long was that?
I spent, 13 years in the field. And then I was a team leader, I think, for 2 years. And then in the last 8 to 10 months, took over the branch operations side of things.
Was that something you got, by the way, did you guys get approached, or was it to be operations managers? Or was that something you applied for? Sorry to interrupt, but I want to...
No, we were, approached by it, I guess. Okay. Opportunity for that was there. So, I personally, I think that once we got into team leader roles and we saw the need, we're type of people that we want to take on that challenge.
Yeah.
So, I think we also initiated some of it to an extent, and saw there was a need for it. So
yeah. Again, for people to still learn that there's a lot of people aspire to grow in other locations. So in your role as operation manager, can you guys speak to what your day-to-day looks like? So we cover team lead. Again, I just want to keep going up. So, I mean, once you start us off, what's your day-to-day look like as an operation manager at the main location?
You're just putting out fires all
yeah. That's okay. Step 1, fire. 2, fire. 3, okay. Okay. Yeah.
No, it's support. It's similar to a team leader or a service manager role. You're supporting everybody.
So you're supporting your team leaders. Who else are your guys that are in the warehouse? And who else is all your direct instructor?
And I would have like Brian Costello, our master plumber. I'd be supporting him.
Yeah.
The warehouse team, our dispatch team. The dispatches, our service technicians, the installation managers. I'm supporting. They're supporting each other. We're each other. Yeah, you're just all the fleet. Ask the fleet. Yeah, so where do you have to fleet manager? Where do you have to support? Make sure all vehicles get repaired or whatever it is.
Right.
And, we all on the bottom of our job description, we all have this line that says other duties as assigned. So that also falls in there too. But I mean, I think that with all of us, we're willing to take on anything. It doesn't matter what it is. Anything that's going to make the company continue to succeed, like throw it at us. It's fine.
Yeah, take ownership. Yeah, and there's the metrics, right? There's always the KPIs, the publish that watching. But we really subscribe to the idea: if we take care of our people, they'll take care of our customers, and our customers will take care of us.
Yeah.
So they didn't talk about the metrics a lot, but every day we look at them, every day we talk about them, every day we're ribbing each other. Right now, Andy's team is supporting Tim's team because they've got extra membership visits to run. So we're constantly looking at that together as a team. looking at the numbers, what it is. You take care of the people in the field, and everything else works out.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up numbers because I've got a few questions. If you don't mind, keep rolling on that. So how I know Brian's big on meeting and he likes face to face. So kind of share what's the meeting cadence like every day, every week. You guys go ahead, jump in.
We're currently on an everyday meeting cadence. So the operations team, myself, Andy, Tim, and Derek, and Jason from our install leadership, all meet 9 a.m. for a half hour, checking in, what's going on.
Now, this is over Zoom or something?
Yeah, so it depends on the day where everybody is, but yeah, we'll use remote meetings, software, so Google Meet. But so it'll be face-to-face for that, and then 9:30 is call center dispatch, which we're all in that as well, because they're all, as operations manager right now, they're all holding titles of service manager, service team leader, service install, like they're all holding all those titles.
Sure.
They're in those meetings, and then we get into a smaller daily leadership huddle. That's myself, Brian, and Samantha and Amanda. So
okay. Now that first call or first meeting, you guys are talking KPIs, right?
Some. Yep.
What key ones are you worried about?
So by the time that meeting's happening, these guys have all published their KPI charts that we've instituted. We're looking at number of technicians ran, number of calls that have been run by repair service, maintenance, and memberships and paid tune-ups, clubs sold, callbacks, recalls, kind of leads on that one too, right?
Yep.
Leads, kind of looking at all of those numbers together. And we really don't get into those too much until we start seeing them stray off of what they're supposed to be.
Sure.
Like if they start straying, then, be like, hey, what's going on here? Let's talk about it.
How long will you let it stray?
A couple of days, but not much. Not very much. These guys are on it. I'm not worried about it. They're watching it very closely.
Right. So what does that look like? You're like, oh, hey, this is, labor's off by a point. Like, what's going on? Is it, or like, do you dig into it together and try to come together and how to troubleshoot it, or you just kind of go, hey, I recognize it's an issue and working on it?
Yeah, sometimes I've called out like, hey, we need to talk about what's going on here. Look at this thing. Other times it'll be more of a one-on-one discussion.
Most recently, Scott alluded to Kalamazoo's helping out fencing with calls and whatnot, and I kind of panicked a little bit when I'm seeing some of my numbers and to budget and whatnot. So I'll, ask for advice, or do we need to do something about this, or are we looking good because we're making it up, in the Lansing area. So, it's pretty much an open discussion every day.
So all of our service areas are like within an hour and a half of each other.
Right. I know you're
so we can flex labor around a lot.
Yeah.
So we look at and we take pride and ownership of our own branches, but we also look at it collectively and try to make sure we're looking at that, not lose track of, the whole game for a certain play. So
okay. Was going to talk numbers. I know Brian's big in club memberships. Like that's the new drive. We got to get the club memberships. What have you guys done or changed to make that a priority? To remind the guys, hey, we got to be offering on every call and every, at least a couple options that's in there. What are some things that you've instituted that's maybe driven that to the forefront?
I mean, I think one of the new things that we've done, I guess, is not only focusing on the new potential members, but the existing ones. We made it really a point to make sure that, we have this great base. Let's make sure that those people stay with us.
Good.
In the world 2024, it's not easy out there. People are trying to look at how they can cut costs, and we want to make sure that, our monthly membership is not something that gets cut. So we want to make sure that we're, building value in the home every time. Even if it's someone that's been a club member for 10, 15 years, we make it a point to thank them and let them know that, you've been a member for 15 years. Like, we greatly appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because in Michigan, we have pretty drastic shoulder seasons, to where, we don't just easily transition into furnaces or into air conditioners. And our maintenance memberships are really what allow us to spread that work out over the course of the season to where we can keep our guys working every single day.
Yeah,
efficiently. So.
right. What do you guys think back there? How are you driving clubs and making it
collectively? I mean, amongst the four of us here, it came pretty naturally to the four of us.
Yeah,
selling it on our own when we were out there. So it's kind of easier for us to, portray that to our technicians. But we offer incentives when they sell the club.
Yeah,
they get a spit. We also do a residual. So at the end of the year, if that client stays on that full year, come Christmas time, they'll get a residual check for the clubs that stay committed.
We started contests again.
And it's correct. Yeah.
Making sure the right people are the ones that are getting those opportunities for new customers. We focus on numbers a lot. We keep track of everything, so we know success ratios for all of our technicians and who's more successful and when. I mean, similar to baseball and when are they hot, when are they cold kind of thing.
Yeah.
We make sure that we have the right people in place to go and run those calls and be successful as well.
How much do you guys drive that versus dispatch back at the home office?
So dispatch, I mean, they do a great job, but at the same time, they have, they have metrics that they go off of. They see, it's a rolling 3 months. A rolling 3 months, and those performers change. So they make sure that they just continue to stay on top of the board. Our dispatch team does a really great job of making sure the right technician goes to the right call.
Mm-hmm.
So they're doing a lot of manual moving.
Okay.
So if they're given the data for club membership sales for the last 3 months, they're going to manually move based on Tim's number 1, Andy's number 2, and Derek's number 3. They're just going to keep moving those calls to give Tim opportunities before they're giving Derek opportunities because he's got the hot heat.
Right. But it's by quarter, every 3 months.
Yeah.
Okay. Correct. All right. Yep. So do you guys talk to dispatch much, or you pretty much?
I do every day.
Daily. Oh, that's not we all do. Okay. What's that? What do those conversations look like? What do you talk? What are you hashing out?
I could speak. When I was a team leader, I was still working in the Grand Rapids branch.
Yeah.
In the last 2 years, they moved the team leaders more or less into sitting next to dispatch. So we had a constant interaction, which I think is probably one of the best moves we ever made.
To go out in Tennessee,
so there's constant interaction. Sometimes it's a give and take.
Sure.
I find myself trying to probably ask why too much and need to be hands off a little bit.
Yeah.
But they're a great resource, and we can be a great resource to them, with that close interaction.
It makes sense because if, let's say Joe is your top guy, and you're not shifting this, but every quarter, but Joe he's skunked 2 calls, or you've talked to him, and he's got something going on at home. You're like, you can just Joe is good for today. Let's shift that around, right? It gives you the ability to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's a big shift. That's awesome. Just gonna wrap it up. So, how do you guys think you guys are able to deliver such a consistent experience? I mean, you're covering a gigantic service area when you consider all your locations, and you guys have got this amazing reputation. So, how have you ensured you've got someone gets a great experience here versus there? I mean, there's a magic to it. There's a recipe to it. What are your impressions on that?
I think the biggest thing is just consistent training. So it doesn't matter if a technician or a plumber is hired for Grand Rapids or Lansing, they're getting the same training no matter what. And we're delivering the same message down no matter what. So constant communication of we need to focus on this week, or we need to focus on this week. And I think being consistent with everybody from the top down, it's having the same message helps a lot from Brian down.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is just having that great leadership at the top, and then it trickles down to us, and then we're able to, do a good job of leading our people underneath us, and they do a good job of taking care of our customers.
Who's managing the training for the whole business? Is it each location had you guys as the operations managers do all the training? Okay, so that helps. So you guys are, you're making sure we're doing it this way versus well, this team leader trains people this way, and this team leader trains his people differently. You make sure it's exactly how you learned it back in the day.
Yeah, no, that's a very combined effort. Fortunately, the one that did it is still here with us too. So, I mean, he's 20 plus years. You have 12 leaders underneath you now. So, yeah, he's done a good job of making sure that we all come up to his level.
So that's great. That's great. What has been the biggest challenge in growing these locations, in these branches, within the last handful of years? I mean, you've been able to do it, but like, what is the biggest thing? People might learn from that.
Just find the right people. I mean, if we're able to get the right people in with us, I know that we could easily market and reach more boxes. But if we can't get to those boxes and those homes for 2, 3, 4 weeks because of our schedule, then we're losing out on opportunities. So really, it's finding the right people, and then we're able to grow.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't disagree 100%. I mean, you could advertise all day long, but you don't have the right person going to that house, it's not going to matter because you're never going to get back in the door.
Right. You guys jumped from 20 to 40 million, I think, within a couple of years, I think. What is it going to look like for you guys to do that again, to make that big jump again?
Opening new branches, exploring new trades, sticking with the basics.
Yeah.
Like just do the basics well.
How much do you think your satellite locations can grow by? What do you guys have a idea?
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the driving force. Yeah, and going forward.
I think we can probably double Lansing yet. Kalamazoo, we probably got another 30% we could get in that marketplace without expanding that much farther.
Yeah.
They're all, what do you got, like 45-minute radiuses basically for everything. So
that's the target.
Yeah, the target. So it is going to take more, getting more people on board and more team members.
What new positions do you think? Is it just more team leaders, more techs? What else is there that you're like,
you need to have that at some point? I mean, for Kalamazoo and Lansing, that's definitely where we need to build out more. I think team leaders are probably next for that area versus a service manager. It's not quite there yet. Grand Rapids, we need to backfill the service manager role a little bit after Derek took on the operations manager role. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking that we got install right now. Install kind of funnels up to the same install manager, but that's got to get divided out. So you're going to have their local installs team leaders at some point.
Yeah. Do you guys look at org charts much and plan? Like you do. So what's that? How often are you looking there and projecting? I'm assuming that with Brian, you guys are like,
yeah. I'm looking at it probably, every quarter or so. I'm really looking at it myself. I've got one that I've got built out that's, the $50-60 million mark for my thoughts.
Yeah.
So as we shipped, Brian and I talking about it with HR, including seeing how things go.
Okay, very cool. What's maybe the biggest change or tweak that you made in your locations that made the biggest difference? Is there anything that you can think over, let's say, the last 12 months? Is there anything you've been really working on? I know clubs has been a directive that, but are there any things you're like, boy, we started doing this differently, trained this differently? Anything that comes to mind?
Nothing that really just comes directly to mind. It's all part of the process and just buying into the process. And I think in the branches, we finally got those technicians that have been here for 2 or 3 years. And then that's when we're really able to let them excel now. I mean, they're able to take on anything, and they've bought into our processes. They understand exactly how we're doing things and why we're doing things. So once we were able to get away from the newer green technicians in our branches, that's when we were really able to just throw as much at them. And I think, the 4 of us, we say here, we do a lot with little, so to speak. I mean, a lot of tasks are put onto us where I feel like maybe some other companies, they might delegate everything. Mm-hmm. And we absorb so much, so we're able to do so much.
Mm-hmm. Guys, any other thoughts? I think sticking to the basics, the club membership thing you talked about earlier. So we go and talk about contests. We talk about our SPIV programs, what it benefits, but really it's just us talking about it, and we lose track and lose sight of that. Sure. We got to reset ourselves and focus on it. 6 steps, or the service essentials, we do it when they onboard. Mm-hmm. It doesn't always come back up again. Sure. We start to see things, we kind of have a self-realization that, hey, we need to focus on that again, or callbacks creep up, and it's like, okay, why is that happening? What steps are we missing? It's constantly reevaluating that, but it's always falling back to following the process and procedures we have in place, sticking to them, don't get off track, like keep moving forward.
Brian said, doesn't everyone now go through that 6 steps training you built in, right? At least once a year. Is that right?
Working on getting that.
Getting that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's right.
That's what we have started.
Yes, that's cool.
So it hasn't. There's always steps. The reality is just being real with yourself. Yeah, what's going on, understanding that there's areas we can improve on.
Sure.
Continuously move forward and
be boring if you didn't have anything to work on, right? All right, last question. How do you guys keep the same great culture? Everyone feels like they're part of this big family, even though you're kind of scattered a little bit. Like, is there anything you put your finger on and how you've been able to make sure the culture has been strong despite all this growth and you're not all seeing each other every day, in person?
I think we all have the same drive / personality / whatever you want to call it, to do the right thing and see it grow. And the communication, like Scott talked about, we have daily meetings and daily touch points and all the calls and text messages in between that keep us aligned on what we're trying to do.
That's great.
Yeah, I was going to just come say, like, it was distilled upon me from Scott, working under him for 13 years or whatnot. It resonated with me, and then I'm just trying to pass it along to my employees now.
Yeah, we're also able to get together every quarter as a company in general.
Oh, really?
Everybody. That's great. Office staff, dispatch, all branches, we all come together every quarter, and we kind of recap the quarter. Administrative changes, things of that nature that need to be changed going forward. So that's nice. We have company events that we put on twice a year. So that's really one nice way to get everybody together. As well.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, very good. Well, gentlemen, thank you for so much of your time at the end of the day. I appreciate it very much. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Support for this podcast comes from Shubee. Keeping your clients' floors clean can be a hassle, but it doesn't have to be when you use Shubee's high-quality shoe covers and surface protection products on every job. Our products are specifically designed to showcase your professionalism at a minimal cost per job. Made from strong, durable materials that won't rip or tear, our products ensure maximum protection. We know that your time is valuable, and that's why we make it our mission to provide you with the tools you need to get the job done quickly and efficiently. So why wait? Visit www.shubee.com to check out some of our great products and use code SC10 to get 10% off all Shubee products. Support for this podcast comes from Professional Plumbing Group. How many hours in a day do your plumbers waste because you don't have the right part for the job? This problem leads to additional issues and reduced productivity, poor customer satisfaction, and increases your cost per job. Professional Plumbing Group, or PPG, can help you solve all those issues and more. We have everything you need to help your business grow and become more profitable while allowing you to focus on plumbing, not inventory management. Go to authorizedplumberprogram.com for more information. The Successful Contractor Podcast is part of the Certain Path family. Certain Path builds successful home service businesses and has for 23 years. We do it by providing contractors with a proven path to success, professional coaching, software solutions, and a member community of over 1,000 contractors just like you. Doubling your sales with a 20% net profit and an inspiring company culture is all possible. Let us show you the way. With Certain Path, success is made certain. Visit www.mycertainpath.com for more information.